Welcome to a new episode of Oh, She's Funny. I'm so excited about my guest this week. You thought, oh, she's funny when you saw her in Keenan, AP Bio, Adam Ruins Everything, and Chris Rock's Top 5. Please welcome the charming and hilarious Hayley Marie Norman. Hello.
Hi. Oh, she's funny. I like the way you say that.
Yeah, you got to like pause a little bit, like, oh, she's funny.
Oh, this is why you're a director. Oh, she's funny.
Yeah, I'll
I
give you a
love
line
that.
read.
There's
Yeah.
a discovery in it.
Yeah, like I'm excited by it. I'm a little surprised. Yeah. I'm so happy you're here. I adore you so much. Let's tell a little of our origin story. We met on Keenan, a wonderful sitcom, and you were so funny and cute on that show. And lovely to work with, to be honest.
Thank you so much for saying, okay, first of all, I felt the same way. You were so lovely to work with. I had such a good time on that
Ah,
show. Keenan was such a good show. I'm so bummed that we didn't get to make more of it.
I know. What a fun, well-rounded, just like great feel-good sitcom that was.
It was such a feel-good sitcom, and it was right by my house. So it was also such a great travel, like when you get to just wake up and you're at work 10 minutes later.
These are all important things that should have factored into the extending the episodes.
One of my favorite Keenan moments was one of those because we shot it at Universal. So one of those like trams came by and like
Yes.
saw Keenan and I like practicing our lines, and people were so excited and I felt so cool. Like obviously they were just excited for Keenan, but I got glory by proxy.
Yes. That's so fun. Those trams get so excited when they see famous people, and this is a little foreshadowing for our discussion later. I used to be a page on the Paramount lot, and I have some info. That's just a tease for what's coming up.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Before we get into it, though, I have a little bit of podcast business. A big, huge announcement. We have listeners in France. It's just me here. I keep doing that. I keep pluralizing what's going on here. It's literally just me. But someone or some people, bonjour, are listening in France. And the takeover of Oh, She's Funny just continues across the globe.
You're literally international.
International. We have all of North America. We have Canada, Mexico, and I just saw that there's people listening in France. It delights me.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm being found, but I'm delighted, and that's very cool. And we got a new review on Apple that I want to read out loud. It's a 5-star review, which I demand to be the only stars that you use. It's from a user called Seattle Kiki. It says, hilarious and nostalgic. If you love hearing about funny women, this is the podcast. Hilarious walks down memory lane. The host is so fun and relatable. Feels like listening to your sister talk to her friends. Isn't that nice?
That's so okay. Wait, your podcast is crushing it.
And
5-star reviews, Paris. Come on.
probably Paris. We don't know. France for sure. And I'm gonna let everyone in on a little secret, just for the listeners. It says it feels like you're listening to your sister talk to her friends, and the reason that user said that because she is my sister. But but like you can still write a review if you're a family member or a guest. Hayley, you could write a review. You know what I mean? Like I almost wrote a review today of myself. Like,
First of all, you should review yourself. You're the artist and the critic. And
yeah, like,
yeah.
hey, I'm doing a great job. Join
Your
us.
review is just your affirmation.
Yeah, like keep going. You're creating something. It's
You're
okay.
funny and people like you.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
That was
Nobody
one of my
hates
real
you.
affirmations for a while, actually. I would be like, I'm funny and people like me, which is sad that that was an affirmation because that meant that maybe I didn't feel that way, but I do now. So that affirmation worked.
That's so honest and relatable, to be honest. Like truly, what's the base fear? No one likes me. And then if you're trying to be a funny actress, like, yeah, what if I'm not funny? That's great. I'm gonna steal that and use that every morning. I'm funny and people like me.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Well, your sister's a great reviewer. Thanks,
she's a great
sis.
reviewer. Thanks, Kiki. That's what I call her. It's not her name, but it's her nickname. Much appreciation, and rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening. It really does help. So it gets us listeners in France.
Yeah.
I keep pluralizing. There are no other people. It's
Well,
just me.
you and the podcast have become like an entity now. So it is.
Right.
So the royal we, I feel like it works.
It's a royal we, yes. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm including my guest or, whoever, it's us. There is more than one person on the episodes at least.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
she's funny as a community, really.
it really is. Honestly, let's make it a community. Let's get some more reviews. Maybe we'll all chat, we'll make friends. Who knows? Hayley, let's get into your origin story. Where do you come from? How did we get you into popular shows like Keenan? How did we get here? Did you
Okay.
always know that you were a funny gal?
So, okay, I just got really excited and then I was like, what's wrong with me? I'm like getting excited talking about myself. Something's wrong here.
This should be the story you know the most about.
So I grew up in Los Angeles, like in the suburbs of LA. So I always knew I wanted to be an actor. And my family wasn't in the business though. So there wasn't like a presence in my home that was encouraging me to do this. But there was one presence that did encourage me to do it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford.
Technically, the story goes that I got discovered by Cindy Crawford, which I used to
What?
I used to hate to tell the story because it makes you sound like a liar, like a compulsive liar. But recently, as of in right now in this moment, I'm leaning into it because I know that it's true. I've heard this story so many times from my parents that I got them on a conference call, and my parents are divorced, so that's a big deal. Okay, I got my divorced parents on a conference call, and I said, I did this Funny or Die podcast, and it came up that I was discovered by Cindy Crawford, and people are like picking up on it. And I need to make sure that you guys aren't lying to me because this is going to be really bad for me and my career and my Google alerts. And my parents walked me through exactly what happened, and it tracks with what they've told me like over the years with the Cindy Crawford story. So I do believe them, and I do feel confident saying that my first foray into the industry was I was at Gladstone's for Fish with my parents, and Cindy Crawford was like, her and I were like joking, like making eyes at each other from like across the table. I was probably like 6 or something,
Hmm.
and she came up and was like about me, like, "Oh, she's funny. And have you ever thought about getting your daughter into like modeling and acting?" And she gave my parents her agent's business card.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Cindy out there in the streets, spotting talent, young talent,
In the Malibu streets.
the Malibu streets of Gladstones.
Yeah,
I bet you
yeah.
were an adorable 6-year-old.
You know what? I think I might have been. I didn't feel like an adorable 6-year-old, and I didn't feel adorable or great for a lot of my life, which is how I think I ended up specifically being in comedy. But
Hmm.
in hindsight, and with all the inner child work I've since done, I can attest
Were
that
you
I
a little bit of
was
a ham?
indeed.
Were you like hamming it up with Cindy at the across the table?
I don't. It's okay. It's so weird because I look back at pictures where I'm like being all cute and stuff, but part of me feels like that it was like maybe performative, like because
Hmm.
I remember feeling like super insecure. Like I'm mixed race, and so I was raised in a predominantly white environment, and I was definitely like teased a lot for my hair and for being black, and so I grew up with like really feeling like different and othered, and had really low self-esteem, and also came from like a super broken home. So
Hmm.
any like outward performative stuff, like I don't know that I definitely didn't feel that on the inside, you
Hmm.
know,
Well, that a good comedian makes all that
that a
that tr
good
tragedy.
my first memories of like doing any sort of like improvised comedy was I had a really I feel like yeah you can't talk about because now I'm getting like dark, but you can't talk about comedy without the darkness. It's like the light and the dark, they go together, and like comedy is born out of tragedy, you know.
Yep.
But
A lot of
but
comedians are very sad.
a lot of comedians are sad.
Hmm.
uh I had a really like literally like the worst kind of stepdad that one can have. And I so my earliest memories of like being funny and trying to make someone laugh was trying to make my mom laugh. I would do like improvised songs about my shitty stepdad to my mom when they were fighting, and like try to make her laugh. And those are my earliest memories of like doing
Hmm.
something for applause and trying to make something better with laughter.
That's so relatable. I would do the same with my mom. Do a character and try to make her laugh. And that's like a little way of control when you're a kid. Like, can I make my mom feel better? That's like
Right.
huge.
It's so
Um,
sad too. Like,
it's so sad, but like look at the dreams we've achieved
oh
now.
yeah, me in Studio City.
Did did you end up like taking acting and improv and stuff as you got older?
Yeah, I did, yeah, because I'm so like I'm also very like studious and this weird like perfectionist and stuff. So I went to theater schools then most of my life. Like I was always in the theater program, and then in high school I transferred to a magnet performing arts school, and then I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is a theater conservatory. And I was studying like, I was super into like Cassavetes and like more like drama forward type things. And in one of my classes, um, I just like started doing this like improvisation that everyone the feedback was that people thought it was so funny. And that was like the first time I was in a class setting and was like, oh, I like people are saying that I'm really funny. And like that felt really good to do. And then we did a Christopher Durang play. And I remember like just feeling like I could be like the most free when I was like just really getting into it with comedy. But I still considered myself like this serious theater actor. And then as time went on, I just kept finding myself back in comedy. And then I started realizing like, oh, a lot of people aren't great at comedy. Like it's like a gift.
Right, right. Did you feel like you
It's
had to pick one side or the other?
No, because I still feel like I do both. Like as a performer, writer, and recent director, like my favorite medium is comedy, but I'm open to all of it. I just love art and creating.
I was talking to Mary Elizabeth Ellis, and she was saying that she met with this casting director, and he had like two sides of photos. On one wall was drama, and one wall was comedy. And he was like, "Which side do I put you on?" And she was like, "No, just like both." And he was like, "But you have to pick a side." And she was like,
Isn't that
"What the
so
hell?"
funny?
So funny.
Mary Elizabeth Ellis and I have the same manager.
Ooh,
I know
connections.
we did an episode of Comedy Bang Bang together, actually. That's how we first met. She's amazing.
Fantastic. Yep, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, And then so you started doing that and then you're already in LA, so you start auditioning, start
Yeah.
booking some stuff.
I got lucky because once I graduated from the theater conservatory, I was able to go back to my childhood agency. So when Cindy Crawford suggested that I get in the biz, I did. And so I was like a member of SAG since I was 7.
Oh,
And so
nice.
yeah, and I worked a lot as a kid. I was very lucky. So as soon as like I booked my first job like right before the graduation from the theater conservatory, which was like controversial because you weren't supposed to accept work or be auditioning like while you were in the
Oh,
theater conservatory. But I did get this like gig on the way out, and then I just kept working since then. So I really do feel lucky I got such a leg up because so many people you study theater, Cyrano de Bergerac, but you don't know how to get an agent. You know,
right, right. There's a whole business side.
there's a whole business side.
Is
Um,
is there a bookend to the Cindy Crawford story? Do we ever meet her later in life and say thank you for this push into
I'm
the biz?
I'm still waiting that the bookend is going to be her being like, okay, you need to stop talking about me on podcast.
The bookend is please leave me alone.
The bookend is going to be exactly.
Might be a nice bookend. It might
Oh
be
my
thanks for
God.
bringing that up. Come over for dinner.
Yeah, I mean, how good? I mean, this could actually end up working in Cindy's favor, you know?
Yeah, maybe Cindy needs you now.
Maybe, yeah, if things keep on the up and up for me, I'm doing Cindy a favor, right?
This is making her look good. She discovered you long ago. She had an eye for you and you're doing great. Like this makes her look smart.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome, Cindy.
Yeah,
I'm,
she
I'm giving
needs
her free
this.
Free publicity.
She definitely needs this.
Can I say one more thing about the childhood thing, which
Yeah.
is that's so wild that you had that same experience with your mom. And to this day, I honestly hope my mom's not listening to this, even though if she is, she will give you a 5-star review. So maybe we want her to.
Come on,
But
moms.
but my mom will talk about how her favorite, like, oh, Hayley, you were such a perfect kid. And I had so much fun with you in your childhood. You used to sing those songs and make me laugh, like as if they were a great memory. And I've never corrected her and been like, Mom, that was a terrible memory for me. Like we all know I had a really rough childhood and I should have never been in a position where I was like had to make my mother laugh to like keep things okay in the home or because I was worried about you, you know?
Right, where you felt responsible for her feelings enough to like, I'm gonna go make her feel better.
Yeah, and like her happiness, like the child should not be responsible for the parent's happiness. But I guess
No,
I was.
yeah, and I mean, it's kind of sad, and I hope my mom's not listening either.
If they are,
We're
they'll still love
fine,
us.
moms. We're
Yeah,
fine. We're
we're
doing great.
fine. Look at us.
We've done a lot of work and we're doing fine.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm excited to talk about who your comedic influence is. Let's bust her out. She's a pioneer.
Do I say her name or you say her name?
Please, you reveal.
Okay. So I'm just going to say when I pitched this name to you, I was like, LP is going to be like, Hayley, please think of someone more original. Everyone has said that. And I was so surprised when you said that she hadn't been done yet because she is the pioneer trailblazer, Lucille Ball.
What? She should have been, I feel like she should have been the first episode. Like, boom, Lucille Ball begins everything.
Lucille Ball begins everything. So it's so interesting to me. Have other people that you've had on really haven't mentioned her?
We really haven't. I mean, there's no rules. Pick whoever you want. So,
Yeah.
this is a real history lesson, this episode, because she truly did like start sitcoms and the way that we do comedy. And I happen to know a lot about her because I was a page on the Paramount lot, which is where Desilu Studios was and where her and I Love Lucy was taped and stuff. So one of my first jobs was wearing that silly little suit and driving a golf cart around and like showing people. Really, the tour is a lot of buildings where you're like, in this building, Cheers was filmed. In this building, Night Court was filmed.
Oh
And they're
my
like cool
gosh.
buildings. Um,
I don't think I realized that Cheers was shot
it
at
might not even
Paramount.
been Cheers. I'm picking old shows. It might not have been Cheers. I do remember the Lucy stuff, but there's also like a big parking lot where they can like fill it with water. This is a parking lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I would pretend that like I would see a celebrity, like, is that Julia Roberts over there? Let's go see. And then I would like
Yeah,
drive the golf cart over and it's like, oh, that's not her. All
that's
right.
just a brunette.
Just a pretty woman. All right, let's try it
Yeah,
again. Let's go.
exactly.
Um,
Insider, but isn't Paramount's like one of my favorite lots. Like I think
is
it's
it?
so beautiful. It has the best vibe. Like, do you feel that way having had worked there? Like, does Paramount have a dark underbelly that we should all know about?
Paramount, I guess. I have a soft spot for it because I gave tours there. It does feel more boring to me because it doesn't feel, it just, there weren't fun things to show people. It was literally like buildings. So I would just be driving by buildings and then I'd be like, this is a vault where like all the old film is kept and like no one cared. They really wanted to see celebrities, and there was like a lot of movies and stuff wouldn't let you like show them what's going on, so you kind of had to stay away from anything very cool. But
Right.
anytime I'm on the lot now, like with official business, I feel very cool that like I used to give a tour and now I'm here like pitching a movie or something.
Like
Feels fun.
when you pull up to the gates and the security guard goes to give you the map of where to go, you're like, you can
I
keep
got
that
it.
at, I know where I'm going. Yeah, right up
Yeah,
your left there. I've been here.
I got it. Past construction in the back. Yeah, I got it. It was a long time ago though now, so I don't remember all the stuff, but. the Lucy portion of the tour is a big part of it because like all the buildings that they were using, and then she was like really family oriented, and so they had like built a nursery there. So there's like this section where there's like a playground area that was like where their kids would play, and all the offices that they used and their studios and stuff. And she's fucking amazing.
I wish I could like go do like I want to connect with the spirit of Lucy so badly. I sometimes
Ooh.
before big auditions or a pitch or whatever, I will like try I don't want to say I like channel her, but I'll just be like, Lucy, if you're out there, and I think you are, like just like back your girl up. Like I like connecting with her.
That's
Um,
very cool.
yeah, so now,
Were you watching I Love Lucy's as a kid? Like, how did you
oh
get into
yeah.
her?
Oh yeah. First of all, multicams are my favorite and they've always been my favorite. And Lucy like invented the multicam. Like as you said, like sitcoms wouldn't exist in the way that they do today without her.
Yeah,
Um,
they really made it like a mainstream thing. I guess there were like people doing multicam ideas like before them, but like for the sitcom and like to do it in front of a live audience and everything, they really like mainstreamed it. And they were like the first sitcom to hit number one on the Nielsen ratings, and then they just like stayed there. I Love Lucy was on from 1951 to 1957, and
wow.
she was like a famous like actress, and they wanted to give her a show, and she was like, I'll do this show, but I want my husband to be the guy in it. And the studio of course was like, well, that's like a hard sell because you're white and he's Cuban. And she was like, well, I insist that it's him, and we're gonna go on tour and do this show live. And it did so good, like their vaudeville performance of it did so well on the road that they were like, okay, we'll put it on the air. And then it was like a huge hit.
And that's one of the things that I think is so great about Lucy is like she she like has such a backbone. Like she's willing
Yeah.
to do what it takes because she also fought to have be pregnant on TV. Like she was pregnant and they were
Yes.
shooting, and so she was the first pregnant woman that we saw. So it's like she has these like deep convictions and morals and
Early
she stands
feminist.
by them. Like that's exactly what I was. Yeah, oh, thank you for phrase. I was trying to figure out how to say that. She was an early feminist, and she stood by it, and she made it happen. And so she's a trailblazer, like not just in like in all of comedy, but also for women. Like she
Totally
did it
for women. Like, can you imagine not being able to show a pregnancy on TV? And then even when they aired it, they weren't allowed to say the word pregnant. They had to say she was expecting.
crazy, great, and she
Like,
really fought for that.
yeah, she really fought for that. And then after I Love Lucy, she had another show, like so her and Desi get divorced. Um, I think this is in the 60s. She had another show called like The Lucy Show, where it was her and Ethel, and they were both like didn't have husbands. And that was like a huge deal that she had like this like single woman raising kids show.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, she ended up being a like a trailblazer too for Mary Tyler Moore. I think she went in and did like a couple. She
Yeah.
was somehow connected to Mary Tyler Moore.
She mentored Mary Tyler Moore, Carol Burnett. She's a fucking baller.
So I have like a studio in my house where I do my self tapes and my voiceovers and stuff. And okay, so I bought this autographed Lucille Ball photo and it says Love Lucy. And it wasn't cheap. And then I went and like got it framed and I spent even more money on the framing. And I like have it proudly displayed, like so I can it's like kind of right in my eyeline when I'm doing my auditions and stuff. But then I just found out that the store I got it from, the Etsy store, like got shut down for selling like fake autographs.
Boo.
But not all their autographs are fake. So I'm like, it's in my head, I'm like,
Could
dude,
be.
I'm like, it could be real. Like, I'm like, but I just, it's like bothers me that I don't know, but I need to believe that it's real, but I know that it might not be real.
Right. Is the picture awesome? Is it a good picture?
It's a really good picture and it's a really good frame job.
Okay. So, I mean, that's important too, because really you just need the spirit, the image can help you get the energy and all that. But
That's true. I can take this
it's
picture
a
when
burn.
when I bust into Paramount and do my seance of Lucy's offices and her kids play, I'll bring the photo and I'll see.
Ooh, we should get some type of medium onto the Paramount lot right in front of that
I
building.
want to do
Contact
this so
Lucy.
bad. Yeah. I do
Wow.
have a medium. He lives in Burbank.
Okay, so he's close by. Have you watched the Amy Poehler, Lucy and Desi documentary?
I did. I watched that and I felt like but it was overshadowed in my mind by the Nicole Kidman, Aaron
Right.
Sorkin, which came out around the same time, right? And
It
was
did.
insane.
That was insane. I don't think I was able to complete that one.
That's such a that's such a good way of saying it. So I was like, when I go on podcasts, I never want to say anything bad about anyone because listen, I'm just an
Sure.
actor that I want to get
Everyone's
hired.
trying their best.
Everyone's trying their best. I will say I was flabbergasted at the announcement that Nicole Kidman would be playing Lucille Ball.
Hey, she's a good actress, I guess. So, what can she
It
do? But yeah, that was a weird one.
was an interesting take.
Yeah, I did enjoy the documentary though.
Yes.
Polar Crushed. Um, a lot of cool stuff on there, like when they were talking about how Desi passed away, and the daughter was talking about like I think he had lung cancer, and Luce she was like calling her mom Lucy to be like, if you want to say anything to him, this is sort of the last moments. And so she put the phone up to him, and Lucy just said, "I love you, I love you, I love you." And he said,
Oh,
and he said something like, "Darling, I love you." And then that was their last time they spoke.
they were the original like Cardi B and Migos, whoever she's dating in Migos or whatever, like because they're like this power couple,
I love
but
that as the comparison.
because everyone because we all knew that Desi was cheating on Lucy, but they still had this like special thing that I guess
Mhm.
would keep you from just being like, okay, girl, bye. Like,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if Lucy was my friend, I would be like, Lucy, like you got to get out of this. He's got the lipstick on the thing. Like
Right,
we
right.
need to talk to your therapist about this. But then also there would be a part of you that's like, I get it. They were the
Your
original toxic
soulmate.
relationship.
Right, right. But there's something that's like drawing them together. They can't be apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something very sweet. I was reading that she was mentored by Buster Keaton,
Whoa.
which I thought was interesting, and they were very into the importance of props and rehearsal.
Ooh.
She really liked to
Wow.
rehearse. Um, and she thought that you didn't have to be funny to get a laugh. You just had to believe the silly thing that you're doing.
I love that because they say I remember I don't know what one of the acting classes, one of the million acting classes that I've been in, they would always say like you would say the line pass the butter, but if the first time you said it and you meant it, like you would get a laugh, but then the second you like try to be like pass the butter or whatever you thought was funny, it
It's not.
doesn't work anymore because you're trying to make it funny.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Just like believe the truth of it and it will be funny.
And
Yeah.
it will be funny. Yeah, I still have never laughed at Pass the Butter, but I
There's
get the sentiment.
somewhere in there. Yeah. And then she was talking about like body movement and how important body movement is. And that's like obviously so apparent in how she acts. Like her whole physicality and all of her scenes is so brilliant. But she was saying that she observes everyone's body movement, cats, drunk people, someone in the park, and she was just like listing like all these people that she just observes body movement on everyone. And like as an actor, you should be looking at movement on everyone. I thought that was really interesting.
That is really interesting. And it's making me think of other ways that she's a pioneer because Seinfeld is one of I watch Seinfeld every night. It's like my favorite show.
Hmm.
And I'm always just so blown away by Kramer's physical
Hmm.
comedy. And I'm seeing like as we're having this conversation, I'm seeing what an influence Lucille Ball must
Hmm.
have had on him. Like
Totally.
I'm like Kramer wouldn't have existed without Lucy. Like she took physical comedy to a whole new level.
Yes, I mean, just the shoulder work that's going on in her performances that then gets to Kramer. Those are that you can trace those shoulders all the way.
Which is so impressive because I love physical comedy, but now I have bad joints, you know? So I'm very impressed with what I don't know
Mhm.
how many omega-3s they had in their diet, but
Yeah,
these
what are
people
they
were well
doing?
oiled.
Yeah, that's not easy to perform that way, for sure.
No, I got to keep my body in line so that I got to get these knees got to get better so I can, do
Hmm.
some banana peel falls, some
Some
pratfalls.
stunt falls. Yeah. I mean, I feel like who's doing physical humor like that anymore?
Okay, I don't think anybody is, and it drives me crazy because when I watch Seinfeld every night or Lucy, like I do all the time, I'm like, if someone went into an audition room and did these things, the note would be bring it down, do less, do less, do less.
You are crazy. Yeah.
Right. They would be like, you are crazy. And now, like, the acting style, for a while, it was like we got away from like hard comedy and it was very like things weren't really funny, but they were being called comedies. And now I feel like things are like funny again, but it's still very much like throwaway performance, like do less, do less. I don't know.
Right.
I'm so curious. How do you feel about that as a director? Because like you can say like Kramer's really funny, Lucy's really funny, but if someone came and did that in an audition, you would be like, get them help, right?
I guess so, because there is sort of like a tone that you're trying to keep like a little groundedness. And if someone's just like, wow, 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 you're like, what's happening? That's not real. Get Lucille Ball out of here.
Yeah,
What
so
a shame. I
have
guess
we
that
as a culture moved past? Like, I don't get it.
I guess it has to be rooted in something like in the script that has it make sense. You know, like
Right.
why I guess Kramer works because his character is that anxious and high strung. So you give him a pass when he's like sliding to the door and he can't, he's like
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's like it's hard to like hit that line of like I believe that you're that shaky of a person physically, or you're just like vibrating in a way that's like uncomfortable for me to watch and it's taking me out of the movie or whatever it is.
Right. I just miss that. I miss that. I miss that like classic sitcom and not being afraid to be bigger or more broad in a way that
Hmm.
that I think still works and like elevates the comedy. We just don't have that anymore. I miss it.
Yeah, there's like a place for it, but yeah, we've gotten maybe too cool.
We've gotten too cool. And being cool and being funny do not go hand in hand. Like the only way you can be funny is that like you cannot care about what you look like.
Right, right. And I mean, physical comedy is so funny. Like, what's funnier than like falling into a table or something?
I'm laughing just picturing it.
Right. I just thought about like Chris Farley falling into a table. It's the best.
The only physical comedy we have now is like when a housewife flips over a table.
Wow, yeah. Those are the funniest shows on TV.
I but I never watched reality TV until maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Whoa.
And I now I'm like obsessed. Like
What got you in? What was the entrance?
so I had this like major injury last year. Yeah, to the beginning part of last year. And so I was like on bed rest for a lot of last year
Mm,
and the end of the year before. And so I think I just I don't know, maybe it started with 90 Day Fiance or something,
it's a
but
great
I
one.
really got into like the housewives.
Great.
And I mean, there is nothing funnier. Did you watch The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Of course.
Okay, so Mary Cosby telling
Ooh,
Jen that she smells like hospital. What the fuck would ever be funnier than
what's funnier than that? What is funnier than that?
that?
You can't write it.
You can't write
You can't
it.
act it. You can't.
No.
She doesn't give a shit. It's so good.
Wait, is it Crosby or Mary
I think
Cosby?
it's Cosby like Bill. Womp
Bill,
womp.
oh gosh. Well, and speaking of weirdos, yeah, she married again, you can't read that.
Oh,
She married her grandpa.
great show. Great fucking show.
And then, okay, wait, sorry to be cute about the housewives, but just another example of something that's so funny is like the Denise Richards episode where she's got her jacket on upside down and backwards.
Yeah, and what's her name? Dorit's like, I think it's on upside down. And Denise is like, I know what you're doing. Stop it.
And she's like, maybe your jacket is on upside down and backwards.
So bananas. I love all of them. I watch them all
They're
the
so
cities.
good.
It's so time
You
consuming.
watch all the cities?
All the cities.
Yeah, I had to tell myself that I wasn't going to get into all the cities because
You don't have that kind of time.
the sad thing is that I think I do have that kind of time, but I
Well, and
just
but you
know.
started late, so like I mean, I've been in it for a year, since back in the day, so I've been able to keep up, but like to have to go
Yeah.
backtrack and catch up, it's time consuming.
Yeah, I
You
watched
can
all
jump
of
in.
Beverly. Yeah, you can jump in, but I watched all of Beverly Hills. I had never seen an episode, and I ended up watching every single episode in like 2 months or something crazy. Like I just
That's so fun.
binged them, and I honestly have no regrets. It was so much fun. I think my neighbor behind me moved because I wouldn't stop talking about the housewives. We were friends. I had no one else to talk to at the time.
Mm.
So I would always end up outside when she was outside, and I would fill her in on what was happening with the housewives. Next thing I know, she needs to find a new place to live.
Wow, she didn't like you talking about the physical comedy of drunk women. That's their comedy, is that they're drunk. That's what's letting
Is
them
that
be
they're drunk?
physical. They're falling down drunk.
That's true. Because
That's
once
mostly
again,
the
you
New
can't be
York
too
ones.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
New York is a
Yeah.
lot of falling down drunk.
And I think maybe that's why I don't love this new season of New York because they take themselves so seriously.
They're a little serious, yeah.
They're a little
We need to
serious.
get a little stupider on that one. They're like
We,
professional women. What are we?
yeah, Jenna Lyons, come on,
Jenna
babe.
Lyons, she's not going to embarrass herself. She's a professional
She'll
woman.
never embarrass herself. Yeah.
Oh, need more trash on that.
Oh my God.
I wonder what Lucille Ball would think of the Real Housewives.
She would be ashamed of us right now.
She might be. Have you seen that clip of her? I forget what talk show that she's doing, but there's a male host in the audience and he's like taking a question and he puts his hand on the woman who's asking the question and Lucy's in front and she's like, "Take your hands off her, David."
Yes, I love that.
I can love that shit. She's
I
like
love that.
a boss bitch.
I wish I knew her. Like, I guess that's why I'm like trying to channel her spirit because I have this like I hate the phrase like girl gang because that sounds like a fucking like hashtag sticker from like 2013 or something. But like I collect funny women in my life. So I'm
Mm,
just like and even like funny kids. Like one of the people who's in this group that I've created called the Besties is like six, like just funny, smart, creative women. And I'm like, Lucy's one of the besties. And I guess I don't need to have ever met her in the physical realm to consider her one of the besties, but she is like she's my kind of girl.
she's awesome. I
Yeah.
want to read this thing that Desi wrote about her that was read when she was being honored at the Kennedy Center. So he said, I Love Lucy had one mission to make people laugh. Lucy can perform the wildest, messiest physical comedy without losing her feminine appeal. The New York Times asked me to divide the credit for its success between the writers, directors, and cast. I told them give Lucy 90% of the credit, divide the other 10% among the rest of us. Lucy was the show. Aw.
Oh, I got the chills reading that.
Yeah, that was after he passed away. They read that when she was being honored and she looked like she was tearing up.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So sweet. So cool. What a legend.
It also goes to show how trifling men are, right? Like your fucking woman is Lucy. Like, and
Hmm.
you're still out here in these streets, Desi. Like, that's a you
Yeah.
problem, dude.
Yeah. That's some insecure bullshit where like she got all the fame or she was the
Right.
star and you had to fucking go behind her back because you couldn't handle that.
Yeah, that's like some machismo
Hmm.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you gonna cheat on Lucy?
I asked Jay-Z the same question.
I know. That's been going on for a long time.
They all out here.
They all out here. Ugh.
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 Get it together, men.
Women are so much better. I hate to be
That's
that person,
true.
but it's just true.
I mean, it's true. That's what we're here to talk about. Women are
Yeah.
funny, they're better.
Yeah.
all the things. Before we go, tell me what we can look forward to. I know you just directed a short. I'm excited for you.
Thank you so much. I just directed my first short. It's been such an I love this experience. And I'm like, I feel like everything has sort of been like leading me to this and this
Hell yeah.
realization that's like, I love directing. But one of the things an unexpected surprise that I love of directing is just how differently people look at you once they realize you're directing. Like, there are so many actors I've been in acting class with who I'm pretty sure don't give a shit about me. I post one thing about directing these shorts, and now these bitches are all up in my comments
Mm,
congratulating me. They're happy. And I'm like, oh, because you think I can hire you one day now?
yeah,
Now
they
you're
do.
commenting on my Insta?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let this power go straight to my head, honey.
Please do. Let it go to your head. You deserve it. I bet you are wonderful. You're great to work with, and you're so smart. So I hope it
Thank
comes
you.
out easily and exactly how you want. Good luck
Thank
with
you.
it.
I
I
was
love
watching dailies right before we jumped on.
that's pretty fun.
I
The
know it's
the
really
editing
good.
process is like hard, but it's also kind of magical because you can fix a lot of things that like were unexpected that happened during production. There's some magical things that you can do in the edit.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that. And
it's a
yeah,
whole
I'm a director that holds a grudge, I'll tell you that, because we had the best time, but some people who didn't show up and they didn't show out the way I would have liked them to show up and show out. Guess what, honey? When I'm directing my network television show, I'm not casting you.
yeah, you want people who are reliable and good to work with. So
Yes.
make a
And that
mental
it's
note.
weird how hard it is to find that in this town, right?
It can be, yeah. So when you find people that are good, you keep them on your radar for sure.
Yeah. Good and even just normal.
Normal is a is key as well. Yeah. A lot of weirdos out there.
A lot of weirdos.
I like
Okay, so one day my wait, what?
I like good weirdos, but they're bad
I
weirdos
love a
too.
good weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bad weirdos. Yeah, my short I think is that'll be out sometime so people can keep an eye on that. But and they can also just follow me on Instagram for the
Yeah, where
most
do we
up to date
find you on
thing.
Instagram? What's your handle?
What if I was like my handle is at Cindy Crawford discovered me.
You could always change it.
Once again, I get a cease and desist from a lawyer. No, my handle is at Hayley Marie Norman, and Hayley is Hayley, Marie Marie, Norman Norman. And I do hope that Seattle Kiki does follow me.
Shouts to Seattle Kiki and
We know
please
you're listening.
she's out here. And please follow the podcast, Oh She's Funny Podcast. And thank you so much, Haley. I loved talking about Lucy with you. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll talk to you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.